Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, tonight I want to speak to your heart. I want to speak to that quiet place inside of you that may have been ignored, neglected, maybe even wounded. A place that longs to be seen, to be valued, and to be loved. You've heard it said, love your neighbor as yourself. But what if I told you some of us have forgotten the second part? You can't love your neighbor if you don't first learn how to love the person you see in the mirror. Listen to me now. You are not an accident. You are not the sum of your failures. You are not defined by what they said about you or by the names the world has called you. No, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, handcrafted, purpose-filled, infused with the breath of the Almighty. But somewhere along the way, life happened. People betrayed you, words cut you, shame crept in, and maybe, just maybe, you started to believe that you were not enough. But I'm here to tell you tonight, you are enough. Not because of your accomplishments, not because of your beauty or your success, but because the one who made you doesn't make mistakes. And when he made you, he looked down and said, it is good. Some of you are pouring yourselves out for others, your children, your job, your friends, while running on empty. You give and you give and you give, but have you taken time to give to yourself? You can't pour from an empty cup, my friend. And loving yourself is not selfishness. It is stewardship. It is obedience to the truth that you are worth caring for. Start treating yourself like someone God loves, because he does. Speak kindly to yourself. Let go of that guilt you've been dragging around like chains. You are forgiven. You are free. You are whole. When you love yourself, when you honor the soul God placed within you, you begin to reflect his love to others. Not in broken pieces, but in fullness. Let me ask you something. Whose voice have you been listening to? The critic, the crowd, or the quiet whisper of truth that says, you are my beloved? If you've been waiting for permission to love yourself, this is it. Stand tall, set boundaries, say no to what breaks you and yes to what builds you. Stop comparing your story to someone else's. You're not running their race. You're walking your path. And hear me. When you begin to love yourself the way your Creator does, you'll stop settling for less. You'll stop chasing after empty validation, because the love you've been searching for, it's already within you. You are not here by accident. You didn't just appear in this world by chance, tossed into existence without purpose or meaning. No, before you were even born, before your first breath, before your name was ever spoken by human lips, you were known, you were seen, you were formed by divine hands with a purpose and a plan. That heartbeat in your chest, it was placed there with intention. That spark in your soul, it wasn't random. There is a blueprint for your life, designed not by fate or luck, but by a Creator who makes no mistake. So many people walk through life feeling invisible, like their presence doesn't matter. But I'm here to tell you, your life is no accident. Your story is not meaningless. You were born on purpose for a purpose. And until you begin to believe that, you'll keep searching for meaning in all the wrong places. You'll look to people, to possessions, to performance, but none of it will fill the space that only identity can satisfy. When you start to understand that you were made with care, crafted with love, and placed on this earth for such a time as this, something changes. You begin to walk differently. You start to speak differently. You look in the mirror and you don't just see flaws, you see potential. You see someone valuable. Not because the world says so, but because God said so from the very beginning. So stop questioning your worth. Stop wondering if your life matters. The very fact that you're breathing, that you're still here, means there is still purpose running through your veins. You are not a mistake. You are a miracle. And when you truly believe that, you'll begin to love yourself in a way that reflects the one who made you. Before you can truly feel the love of anyone else, whether a parent, a partner, a friend, or even the love of God, you must first make space for it within yourself. And that space is only created when you begin to believe that you are worthy of love in the first place. So many people try to fill their hearts with affection from the outside, thinking someone else's love will fix what's broken on the inside. But listen to me. If you can't receive love within, you'll never recognize it when it comes from without. The truth is, love, real, lasting, healing love begins within your own soul. You've got to stop rejecting yourself, tearing yourself down, questioning your worth every time you fall short. Because God doesn't love a version of you that's perfect. He loves the real you, the raw you, the you that doubts, the you that struggles, the you that cries at night when no one else sees. But what happens when you constantly beat yourself up? When you look in the mirror and only see your scars, your failures, your shortcomings, you shut the door to love before it can even enter. You tell yourself stories that aren't true. I'm not lovable. I'm not enough. I don't deserve better. And yet God whispers the opposite. You are mine. You are chosen. You are loved with an everlasting love. You see, when you begin to truly love yourself, something amazing happens. You no longer chase the wrong people just to feel wanted. You no longer cling to what hurts just to feel needed. You begin to align with love that is real, that is whole, that doesn't ask you to shrink or change to be accepted. So hear this. Open your heart to love from the inside out. Let it begin with the way you speak to yourself, the way you care for your spirit, the way you forgive your own flaws. Because when you love yourself, you're not just honoring who you are, you're honoring the one who loved you first. You've been giving everything you've got, your time, your energy, your attention, to everyone else. You show up when others call. You stretch yourself thin trying to meet everyone's needs. You say yes even when you're running on empty. And you smile through exhaustion because you think that's what love looks like. But let me tell you something you may have forgotten along the way. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You see, you were never meant to run on fumes. You were never meant to live life burned out, worn down, and constantly sacrificing your own well-being in the name of being strong or selfless. Yes, service is good. Yes, caring for others is noble, but not at the expense of your own soul. Even the strongest among us needs rest. Even the most generous hearts need refilling. And the truth is, when you constantly neglect your own needs, your love becomes strained, your patience wears thin, and bitterness begins to grow where joy used to live. Loving yourself isn't about choosing yourself over others in a selfish way. It's about making sure you are whole enough to give what is real. Because the people in your life don't just need your help. They need your presence, your peace, your joy. And you can't offer that when you're always drained. So take a step back, breathe, check in with your soul. What do you need right now? Sleep? Silence? Honesty? A boundary? Don't feel guilty for giving yourself what you so freely give to others. Think about it. Even Jesus withdrew from the crowds to rest and pray. If he needed time to restore his spirit, how much more do we? Fill your cup. Pour love into your own heart, because when you're full, when you're grounded in self-love and peace, you can give in ways that don't deplete you. You can show up not out of obligation, but out of overflow. And that kind of love, it's pure, it's lasting, it's powerful. There's a lie that's been whispered for too long, that loving yourself is selfish, that putting your needs first is arrogance, that honoring your own worth somehow means you care less about others. But that's not the truth. That's not wisdom. That's a trap that keeps people small, silent, and stuck in cycles of guilt. Let me say it plainly. Loving yourself is not selfishness. It's strength. It's wisdom. It's obedience to truth. You were never called to hate yourself into growth. You were never meant to dim your light so others can shine. There is a quiet, sacred power in standing up and saying, I matter too. It doesn't mean you think you're better than anyone. It means you finally understand that you're not less than anyone either. True self-love doesn't boast. It doesn't puff up. It's not about thinking the world revolves around you. It's about recognizing that you are just as deserving of care, of patience, of forgiveness as the people you so freely give those things to. It's about seeing yourself through eyes of compassion instead of criticism. We've been conditioned to believe that humility means shrinking, that love means neglecting ourselves for the sake of others. But what if real humility is knowing your place in the world and honoring it? What if real love includes the courage to say, I deserve respect, rest, peace, and joy just like anyone else? When you love yourself the right way, you actually love others better, because you're not loving out of fear or people-pleasing. You're not seeking approval or validation. You're giving from a place of fullness, from truth, from freedom. So don't confuse self-love with pride. It's not about thinking more of yourself than you ought. It's about refusing to think less of yourself than you were created to be. It's about stepping into the identity you've already been given and treating yourself with the same dignity you would offer someone you deeply love. Far too many people are living their lives chained to the opinions of others. They wake up wondering what people will think, go to bed replaying what someone said, and spend every moment in between trying to earn approval from people who don't even see their full worth. But hear me, your value is not defined by anyone else's opinion. You are not less because someone failed to recognize your light. You can't keep handing the pen of your self-worth to people who weren't assigned to write your story. People are fickle. They cheer one day and criticize the next. One moment you're enough, the next you're too much. If you let your identity be shaped by their voices, you'll never stand firm. You'll keep shrinking, performing, doubting, apologizing for who you are. That's not living in truth. That's living in bondage. Let me ask you something. Who gave them the authority to name you? Who told you that their approval was the key to your value? There's only one voice that matters. The one who created you, the one who sees you, the one who called you good long before anyone else had an opinion. When you realize that, something powerful happens. You stop begging for love. You stop settling for crumbs of acceptance. You start walking with dignity, not arrogance, but confidence rooted in truth. You begin to understand that you don't have to prove anything to anyone to be worthy. You already are. And yes, people may still misunderstand you. They might walk away. They might not get the new boundaries you set or the way you've started choosing yourself. But that's okay. Because when you know your worth, you don't need everyone to agree with it. You just need to believe it yourself. So let their opinions come and go. Let the judgment roll off your back. Their voice isn't final. Your value doesn't change based on how others treat you. It was set long ago, and nothing and no one can take that away. When you begin to love yourself the way you would care for something sacred, something that holds beauty and meaning, everything changes. You stop poisoning your mind with comparison. You stop punishing your body with criticism. You begin to rest not out of laziness, but out of reverence. You nourish yourself not just with food, but with peace, with joy, with truths. Think about it. If someone handed you a rare treasure, something priceless and irreplaceable, wouldn't you guard it? Wouldn't you protect it, clean it, honor it? That's what you are. You are not cheap. You are not replaceable. You are not common. You are a vessel of purpose and light. So love yourself like you matter, because you do. Take care of your body, not out of vanity, but out of gratitude. Rest your mind, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. Guard your heart, not out of fear, but out of awareness that what you carry is too important to be mishandled. Loving yourself isn't just about feeling good inside. It's about how you live, how you move through the world, and how you allow others to treat you. And one of the most powerful expressions of self-love is learning to set boundaries. That means saying no without guilt, stepping away without apology, and choosing peace over pleasing. Because when you truly love yourself, you stop allowing your time, your energy, your heart to be mistreated. You see, boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. They don't shut people out. They protect what's valuable inside. And what's valuable is you, your mental health, your emotional well-being, your calling. But far too many people let anyone walk in and out of their lives, bringing chaos, criticism, or control, because they're afraid that saying enough will make them look unkind. Let me tell you something. It is not cruel to protect your soul. It is not selfish to guard your peace. If someone is constantly draining you, disrespecting you, or causing you to question your worth, it's okay to step back. It's okay to draw a line, not in anger, but in love. Love for yourself. Love for the future you are building. because every yes you give to someone else is a no to something else. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life saying yes to everyone but yourself. Boundaries are how you show the world that you matter. They are how you teach people to honor your space. And hear this, the people who truly love and respect you will not be offended by your boundaries. They will be grateful for them. They will understand that your limits are not rejections, but reflections of your strength. Don't apologize for protecting your peace. Don't explain away your rest. Don't feel guilty for choosing yourself when no one else will. Love yourself enough to stop giving access to those who only take. There's a trap that so many people fall into, the constant comparison. We scroll through our feeds, look at the success of others, and feel the quiet sting of inadequacy. We start to think we should be further along, more accomplished, more together. We measure our journey by someone else's timeline, and it always leads to disappointment. But hear me, comparison is the thief of identity. It steals your peace, it steals your joy, and it steals your understanding of who you really are. You were never meant to live someone else's life. You were created with a unique path, a specific calling, and a set of gifts that no one else has. And yet, how often do we ignore those unique qualities, looking instead at someone else's success, someone else's relationships, someone else's perfect life? We forget that they too are on their own journey with their own struggles, their own lessons to learn. What they show on the outside doesn't always tell the full story. So why do we compare ourselves? Why do we feel like we're falling short because someone else seems to have it all together? Because comparison lies. It tells you that you are incomplete because you're not like them. It whispers that you should be doing more, achieving more, having more. But it's a trap. You are not in competition with anyone else. Your worth isn't determined by how you measure up to others. You are enough right where you are. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you begin to understand the beauty of your own story. You start to appreciate your progress, your unique gifts, and your individual pace. No one else is walking your path, and no one else will ever live your story. So stop looking at theirs and start looking at yours. Comparison keeps you stuck in a cycle of frustration and self-doubt. But when you embrace who you are, without measuring yourself against others, you unlock the power to walk in confidence and authenticity. You start running your own race, and that's when you find freedom. It's easy to forget that love is not just a feeling, it's a decision, a commitment. So often, we expect love to be effortless, to just come naturally, especially when we're talking about loving ourselves. But true love, whether it's for God, for others, or for yourself, requires intention. It requires action. You have to choose to love yourself every single day. You have to decide in the quiet moments when no one is watching that you are worthy of kindness, of patience, of care. Love is not about waiting until you feel perfect to accept yourself. It's not about loving yourself only when you've met all your goals or when you've hit the milestones you set for yourself. It's about loving yourself right now in your imperfection, in your mistakes, in your growth. It's a decision to honor your journey even when it feels messy or incomplete. And here's the truth. You don't have to wait until you feel worthy of love. You are worthy now. When you choose to love yourself, You choose to forgive yourself, to show yourself grace, to be your own cheerleader when the world around you is silent. You choose to speak life into your own soul, to tell yourself that you are valuable not because of what you've achieved, but because of who you are. You choose to stop accepting less than you deserve, to stop settling for toxic relationships, and to start walking in your full identity. That decision to love yourself is a daily act. It's waking up every morning and deciding, I am worth it. I will not let negativity, insecurity, or fear dictate how I see myself. And it's not always easy. Some days will be harder than others. But even on the hardest days, love yourself enough to keep going. Keep choosing yourself. You have to decide that you are enough. Not when you're perfect, not when the world approves of you, but right here, right now, just as you are. Previous title, True Love. Self-love begins with a simple, powerful decision to believe in your worth and to choose yourself every day, because when you love yourself, you unlock a life of peace, of joy, and of purpose. And in doing so, you become the best version of yourself, not just for you, but for everyone you are called to impact.